I'm Laura Hopkins with 7 Oily Days, and today we're going to make some summer-inspired recipes with our Vitality oils, and they're so delicious. And I want to really quick, before we get into making the recipe, I want to show you and explain to you the difference between our different types of oil and also the juice, and how we can swap out ingredients in recipes. So right here I have Lime Vitality and Lime Essential Oil. Different labels, same oil. That's right. They are the same thing. The reason why we have Vitality oils is because we can talk about taking them internally and stay compliant with the FDA. So whenever I'm doing recipes and cooking, I love to be able to show people this bottle and talk about it online, right? So the great thing about it is lime will actually, you can use lime juice with lime oil or any citrus oils with the citrus juice, because it actually amps up the flavor. Now my example is, I love a little summer drink. I've got ice in here and some coconut water. I squeezed some fresh lime juice in there and I took a drink. It was great, it was nice, it was refreshing, but adding some Lime Vitality to it kind of amps it up a little bit, if you know what I mean. So it's additionally, I love lime, and so I love that extra lime in there. So the juice is nice, but the juice is an ingredient that brings flavor, and the essential oil actually amps up the flavor, in my opinion. And the difference is the lime of Vitality. Have you ever used a zest of a lemon or a lime in a recipe? It's done to amp and enhance up that recipe versus the juice. So the juice is used as an acid. The lime oil actually comes from the rinds of the limes and is cold pressed. So it's very similar, not exactly the same process whenever you zest, of course, because when you cold press, you're actually, just like an olive oil, you're pressing down on the rinds, not the juice. But when you zest, you're getting the oils in your ingredients. So for me, it's very simple, a couple extra drops of Vitality oil, and you've got an amped up ingredient, amped up recipe, amped up flavor. So right now, I'm gonna show you something that is a very, very simple way you can use your Vitality oils. Now, a lot of people get nervous cooking with Vitality oils, or because they are so superpowered, if you will. So for example, I always heard never use a drop of oregano when you're making in a spaghetti sauce. You just take a toothpick and swirl it around. Take your toothpick, put it down into your bottle, and let it kind of drip off a little, and then swirl it into your spaghetti sauce. But I learned from Chef Mandy O'Neill a really great technique, and that is when you're using fats, you incorporate the fat with your oil. Just like in a recipe, when you have your sugar and your butter and you cream those together at the beginning of a recipe, it's gonna be different if you add your sugar in with the flour and then with the butter. It actually gives a different consistency. It actually changes the consistency, and it changes the flavor. So what we love to do is use our fatty oil. So I have a good avocado oil here. I have this really cool bottle that I found. I found it in an Amish store, and so it actually has recipes written on the side of it and different levels of how you fill it. So it's asking me first, I'm gonna make a cilantro lime marinade. So I'm gonna do, this calls for an ounce of olive oil. So I'm gonna fill it up, got an ounce of olive oil, and then it calls for lime juice, fresh cilantro, cumin, salt, a clove. And so I'm going to do something just a little different. So I'm gonna actually take my lime juice, and I'm gonna add lime to my lime juice. I am going to add some essential oils of cilantro and cumin, but instead of adding them kind of seasoning as I go at the end, I'm actually gonna add them in with the oil. So that way it gets a little bit different. So I've got the cilantro here. Depending also, you can experiment with this depending on how you like the flavors. So I like cilantro, but I like lime more. So I'm gonna do 2 drops of cilantro. And so I've used an entire drop, right? So what that happens is it emulsifies and it mixes together. You're getting the oil mixed in, and it's actually gonna help diffuse it throughout the recipe, instead of a lot of times whenever we put it at the end and use oils at the end of a recipe, the oil tends to separate more from the other parts of the recipe. So infusing it into the oil is gonna help it have the flavor without being overwhelming and sitting on top of, say, a sauce or a marinade. Then I'm gonna use my lime. Let's do, and I really like lime. So I'm gonna do about 4 to 5 drops of the lime. I have my lime juice here. I'm gonna go ahead and finish squeezing out some lime juice. The nice thing about this bottle is you can just mix everything together and then pour it in, shake it up right here. And voila. I might want to get a strainer here in a second to pour that in. And you can always experiment. I love to experiment in the kitchen. Some people love recipes. If you don't enjoy experimenting as much and you want to have a sure thing, whoop, got too much out. Whoop. All right, so the next thing is I've got my, so that's my lime with my oil. I'm gonna mix it in there really good. I'm gonna add a drop of cumin, Vitality, of course. This is gonna have a little Spanish feel to it. And then you can use the garlic salt or you can use regular pink salt. Today I'm gonna use the garlic salt because I wanna have, I don't wanna add a clove of garlic to it. So I'm just gonna add that in there. Got it mixed up. And because I'm not using the fresh herbs, it calls for the fresh cilantro, it calls for the fresh garlic. I'm gonna add a little bit more avocado oil. You could use olive oil if you wanted. And just mix that really well. And then I'm gonna get a little taste here. Ooh, yum. Cannot wait to put this on my chicken. You can grill that chicken. Personally, that's my favorite way to do it. You can smoke it if you wanted to. Roast it, you could do it as well, but to me, it's like that grilled flavor. It's gonna be perfect for tacos, for chop it up and put it in enchiladas. It's gonna be fantastic. So this is just one example of a recipe that you can make that's kind of summer inspired. Get those citrus oils, Vitality oils out, and start playing around with them and using them in your summer meals. Get outdoors, enjoy being with your family and friends, and amp up the ingredients in your recipes. Whenever we use our oils, it's such a blessing to our bodies, it's such a blessing to our families. And so you might have some oils sitting on your shelf that maybe you got for free, you've never used before. Pull them out, start experimenting with those Vitality oils, start experimenting with your regular oils, and see what you can't cook up yourself. Here are a few other recipes that I really like.